Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's been a long time we haven't met, and I hope you are doing fine all this time. And today we are going to review certain things in your first units. So we'll start by scrolling down very quickly and just stopping on the grammar thing or anything related to grammar. So my focus is to review grammar and or anything related to some certain techniques in the English language skills. So here I'm not going to stop at everything because you have already studied these units, but I'll just stop again at the highlighted important things that I need to focus on. So the first unit here, first lesson is my toe is bleeding, and I'm pretty sure you are talking about injuries here, as you remember. Maybe you have studied this before. Talking about injuries and how you recover. And then we have here, I was ice skating and I fell over. Also, we are still discussing injuries and stuff like that. Here we have another article. He was floating when he felt something push him. So we have a shark in the photo, and I'm sure that you have a new vocabulary here. Now here also we are talking about smoking. Most smokers take it up as teenagers. So like most people, when they smoke, they start as a teenager. And then you have some exercise here, but what I need from this lesson here is the phrasal verb. So here basically a phrasal verb, let me just put it in my own way and then we read the box here. A phrasal verb usually is when we have like a preposition, we put it in another word and we make a certain phrase that can give you either the exact same meaning or a different meaning. Like in the phrasal verbs is like a verb with a preposition in order to give the same meaning or a different meaning. For example, we can say take, you know the meaning of take, to give someone something, so he takes it from you. Off is like to stop or something, like switch off or whatever. Here if we have it as take off, the meaning is like, if I put it in this sentence, the plane takes off at 6 o'clock, for example. So here the meaning of this phrasal verb take off is that the plane will fly. You see the meaning? So it's totally different. So it means that the plane will fly, or the plane will start, or whatever. So it's like it will start flying. So this is one thing. Switch, you know the meaning of, for example, switch is like the button you have on the wall or whatever. Switch on or switch off is like when you turn on something or turn off something. So basically phrasal verb either give the same meaning, or either it's give the same meaning or gives a totally different meaning from the preposition. Alright? So it's like that, the plane here, the plane will fly. Alright? Again, here is the same as switch off. So phrasal verb, as we have seen here, it's either give the same meaning or gives a totally different meaning. Alright? Now let's read the box here and then we see what we are talking about. Phrasal verbs are formed when a preposition, example up, down, off, and so on, is added to a verb and creates a new verb. Sometimes the new verb has a similar meaning, but sometimes it's very different. I'll pick you up at 7:30. The meaning here is like fairly similar to the verb pick, because you'll pick him up. He gave up when he got ill, very different meaning from the verb give, because give means to give someone something, but here give up means to quit, to abandon, to stop. So this is the meaning of give up here. Alright, so this is, you have to focus on certain phrasal verbs. You have a list of them, I think, in the activity book, so you have to memorize them. I always advise my students when we talk about the phrasal verbs and discuss them, you have to memorize them and their meanings. You have to memorize them and memorize their meanings. Of course, memorize, it can be with S here or Z, because this is British English, or we can say memorize with Z as American English. It's up to you. Both forms are correct. Alright? So what we do with phrasal verbs, we memorize them. Alright, we memorize phrasal verbs and their meaning. Now let's move on. Take some exercise every day. Here, complete the health tips and phrases in the box. Here we have some certain exercise with certain phrases, vocabulary. Teachers used to be stricter. Strict means someone who is like very sharp, very disciplined, someone who is like serious, we can say. And used to is very important. Here we have another important grammar rule here, and now we are discussing used to. Number 2, we are going to talk about used to and or didn't used to. This is very simple and easy, because when we talk about used to or didn't used to, we are talking about habits or things you used to do in the past. Alright, so simply used to is when you are talking about a habit in the past, something that you used to do in the past but now you don't do it, not anymore. So something you do it in the past but not anymore. This is very important here. This is very important. But not anymore, which means you stopped doing this thing. It's only in the past. For example, I used, and this is a real sentence about myself, I used to smoke. I used to smoke. When you see used to, يعني بس نشوف a sentence like this, I used to smoke, it means that the speaker is not doing the same thing. يعني متحدث, he's not doing the same thing that he's talking about here. Like when I say I used to smoke, I mean I am not a smoker now. Okay, so I'm talking about the past, something I used to do in the past. So I used to smoke, we can say here, we can put it in this color, it means I am not a smoker now. Alright, so simply we are discussing here, we are discussing things we do in the past, habits we do in the past. Alright, that's it. Alright, the rule here says used to plus verb is for things which were true in the past but are not true now. They describe it here in the box here, in this box, as something true in the past, not true in the past. I'd like to explain it as its habit, something you used to do in the past but not anymore. Sorry. So films used to be black and white, now they are usually in color. So films before, they used to be in black and white, but now not anymore, they are colored now. The negative is didn't used to. So when I need to use a negative sentence, a negative habit in the past, I use didn't used to. So the negative is didn't used to. People didn't used to have computers and mobile phones, but now everyone has them. Alright? Okay, so this is about used to. Now let's move on. Let's start with a diet. Here also this thing and this topic in general is one of the most important topics that they added in all classes, because health and staying fit is something very important also, and there are certain techniques, certain words, certain vocabulary that goes with diets and how you can keep fit. So you have to revise this later on. Useful linking phrases here. They study these useful linking phrases. Sometimes we have linking phrases in order to express our opinions. So let's see here. They are saying giving opinions. If you want to give an opinion, you use in my opinion, I feel that, personally, I think, generally speaking, and then you start talking. So you use these phrases before you start, and then you start the sentence when you are going to give an opinion about yourself. Listing points. When you want to list certain things, you start by saying, firstly, let's start with, in the first place, secondly, finally, lastly, last but not least, next, in addition, furthermore, on the top of that, or on top of that, thirdly. So this is always, you start the sentence by doing this, like next, I would like to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of smoking, for example. And you go on, you carry on talking by using these phrases as an entry to the sentence. كمدخل يعني. Talking about causes, one reason is that because of, this is caused by, so if you are going to give causes, you have to use certain phrases like this in formal writing, بالكتاب الفورمال يعني. Talking about results, and if you are discussing a result, you say as a result, consequently, therefore, that's why, and that's it. Things like that. So you use these certain phrases when you practice in your writing skills, in your paragraphs, for your current days or for your final exam. So you have to do this. I'll always be proud of him. Also, proud means when you feel happy or when you feel so excited and so happy about someone's achievement, someone you care about. Alright, now in unit 2 here we have law and order. You have some certain words here that can be used also in as a vocabulary match the words and the pictures. Is very easy. Like we have footprint, you know footprint. We have fingerprint, you know fingerprint. Radar, speed gun, metal detector. Metal detector, if you go to the mall for example, you enter this small device. When it detects if you have any metal thing and it makes a beeping sound. X-ray machine, security cameras, crime scene, speed limit, security guard, and so on. So this is a very easy thing. Police officers, duties. Also here they are discussing police and what are their duties, what are their responsibilities, and sort of things. Now we have here airport security. Also we are still discussing same stuff. And now you know that airports are closed because of coronavirus. Maybe one day they will open again, and then they will have strict procedures again, despite the fact that it's going to be with the virus. Now applying for a job, this is also one important thing, how to apply for a job and so on. Last but not least, for here we are talking about should and shouldn't, and you know that should and shouldn't we use them when we are giving an advice. Alright, so when we give an advice we use should and shouldn't. Here they are telling you that use should and shouldn't to say what you expect will or will not happen. This is also another usage, and this is another way that you can use should or shouldn't. But basically when we use should or shouldn't, we use it to give an advice. When you give an advice you use should, especially when you are talking to a friend or someone who is friendly to you. Let's look here at the examples. Look at the sentences from the conversation and answer the question. Samir is saying, that's fine, I enjoy talking to people. Mr. Hazem, then you should enjoy the job. So here he is giving him an advice that since you are enjoying talking to people, so you should enjoy the job. So this can be considered as an advice, or this can be considered as something that will happen in the future, because Mr. Hazem is expecting him that he will enjoy his job in the future. So Mr. Hazem, good, I'll send you the directions by email, or directions by email. They are very clear, you shouldn't have any trouble finding us. So here you shouldn't have any trouble finding us. This is not an advice exactly, which is something that we are expecting to happen. When Mr. Hazem says, then you should enjoy the job, does he mean it's a good idea to enjoy the job, or I think you will enjoy the job? So he thinks, I think you will enjoy the job. So this is what they mean. Use should or and shouldn't to say what you expect will or will not happen. This is one thing, and the other thing is what will, the other thing is an advice. Military jobs. Have you ever thought about joining the military, and so on. Now we have robbery. A robber is someone who can steal, or someone who steals something from a bank or a house, something like that. It's a stealth, but it's an armed stealth because they have to use certain weapons. A safety brochure. So here everyone should think about home safety. So we're discussing home safety, basic measures, windows, doors, and locks, and so on. Security technology. One number. At least 5 use of thinking phrases, 3 vehicles, and so on. Radar, you know, we are still discussing the thing that we started the unit with. And that's it for today. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. See you again in a new video. Have a nice day. Goodbye, and كل عام وانتم بخير، وإن شاء الله تقبل الله منا ومنكم الطاعات، وإن شاء الله عيد فطر مبارك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Goodbye.